Hey there, Dale from Peace Rocks and Garden. A little celebratory glass of wine because this is the first main tumbler batch I've got in over a year. My big vibratory tumbler died. Well, the bowl died. You can check out the link below for my review and what happened there. And then my National Geographic tumbler died. And so it's taken me a while. I went and bought a whole bunch of rotaries just recently and then got another bowl for the vibratory. Anyways, pretty stoked. I'm going to dry them off and we'll go through a few of them. Here we go. All right, so I thought I would start off with the quartz that was in the batch. And first and foremost, I thought I would go through quickly my tumbling process. Some of these were actually shaped with a grinder first because they had areas on them that, see if I can find the example, that were quite rough and would have took a lot of stage one grinding. So I did take a diamond wheel grinder and ground some of the rough edges off, and you can kind of, like for instance that there, that's just the remnants of. So then they went into the first rotary at 60-90 grit, and for the most part they only needed a week because I had done the grinding on 69. There's a couple that required a little bit more love. Some of the flatter pieces like this required a couple, and you can kind of see still they're not, perfectly smooth. I didn't want to grind them so far down that you didn't get to enjoy them. Then they went into a 120, 150 grit for a week. And then they went into a 500 grit for a week. And those were all done in the rotary. So basically, these here were in rotary tumbler for a minimum of 3 weeks. Some of them up to 5 weeks. Then from there, I put them into one of the bowls that I have for the large vibratory tumbler at the 1200 grit. And I left them in these were mixed in with the rocks that I'll show you in a bit here, with also ceramic media to get the bowl action proper. So they stayed in 1200 grit with the big vibratory tumbler for about 2 days. And then I took them out, rinsed them, and then put them back in that same barrel and put water, a fair amount of water in, and borax to ensure that I get all, and I did that twice. So did borax, let them tumble for about 2 hours, and then emptied them out, rinsed them all off, and then put them back in the same tumble bowl and did another 2 hours with the soap, just to ensure that I got as much of the grit off as possible. And I did go through on these rocks, not so much an example on the quartz because they were all pretty smooth to begin with, but on some of the rocks I then went along with a brush and kind of gave them a little bit of a scrub just to get the remnants off. Then they went into a completely different bowl, a brand new bowl for the tumbler that I bought, and with the ceramic media also fully rinsed and cleaned into aluminum oxide. And from there, they again, and I just sprayed it every day with a little bit of moisture just to keep the action proper, and let them tumble for 2 days again in the tumble. And then I repeated the process that I did for the 1200 grit. took them out, rinsed them all off, threw them in the bin again, let them tumble in the borax and water for a little bit, took them out, rinsed them off, and then threw them in for the final tumble with borax. And I left the final tumble with borax, kind of call it a burnishing, if you will, for about 3 hours. And this is the result. I'm very pleased. As you can see, they have a very nice finish on them. Very reflective. And incredibly smooth, like very smooth. So this is all the different quartzes that I have. For those that enjoy my channel, Northeast Rocks and Garden, these are all collected here in the Peace region. So north of Prince George, actually north of Mackenzie. But I did get some neat specimens. So you can go from the straight milky quartz that we have lots of, tons and tons, to quite an interesting, sorry, there we go. Camera doesn't pick it up that great, but it does have some lines. Now, this is quartz. It is not agate, so it's not banding, but still has some interesting formations. I have two samples here that I'm convinced they're marble, but they have texture to them that's very odd. And you can kind of see there, that is a very milky, but not like milky quartz. It's kind of more of a cream. You can kind of see it kind of curves around there. And it's very similar to this one. So, I was thinking, geez, this is limestone or something, but I've never gotten a polish from limestone. So maybe it's marble. I'm thinking it's quartz still, but very interesting patterning. And the rest of them are pretty much, again, your standard. This one was I was convinced for a while it was agate, but it's not. It's quartz. And we've got some other ones that are quite nice and pink. Can't really tell. So this is a combo of quartz and quartzite, which is weird. You can tell when you shine a light through it. On the one side, you can see there's just some light. That's quartz. And down here is more sandy, grainy quartzite. So that's kind of cool as well. I haven't really seen that before, where you kind of had the combo. Or at least that's, in my opinion, what I think it is. And all the way down to where you've almost got clear. Oops, that one, smash. And this one, quite clear. Which, when you shine a light through, it really does. It glows quite nicely. But we don't get a lot of this up here. So I was pretty stoked to find this guy. Anyways, I will put these away and I'll grab some more because I sorted them all out for this video on the first tumble I had in the last year and a bit. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back with a mixture of sandstones, conglomerate, porphyries, and then a few head scratchers. So we'll start off over here. These came from the Beaten River. Honestly, I don't even know what to call it. Kind of want to call it a granite in a sense, but it's a really large crystal size. But they took a good polish, as you can see. Very shiny, quite red. So a mix of both types of feldspar. You got quartz in there. So you got different examples of that. Then we got some sandstones. Typical to sandstones. I'm not unhappy with the polish. Here's another good example of a sandstone that I got a really good polish on. So you can tell by the layering and such. So they did take a really nice polish. But with the pitting, you can kind of see the pitting there. And that's typical of sandstones. Over here, I'm really not sure. kind of want to call it a granite or something along those lines. Just because it's a mix of things, and I really don't know, but quite hard. I haven't done any kind of hardness test on any of these. Not really wanting to scratch them. Spent so much time making them shiny. Why would I want to scratch them? Should have done that in the beginning. Anyways, so I'm not entirely too sure what exactly the composition of those are. We have porphyries, so we have different types of feldspars in there, and different types of matrix. Some people call these Chinese writing stones, but again, they took a very nice polish. So pretty happy with those. These are some of the head scratchers that I kind of segregated into this batch, and I got some really interesting ones here. Again, all of these are collected north of Mackenzie in British Columbia here. So here's the first one. Very interesting. I have no idea what it is. Very browns, it's a mixture of different types of browns. And that little white patch there, when you shine a flashlight on it, is reflective. Kind of like a muscovite, but it's not muscovite. So pretty cool. Another one that's very cool, if I can see where I'm going here. Same kind of deal, creams and browns. A lot of layering. Doesn't have the texture of sandstone whatsoever. It took a really nice polish, as you can see. So, I don't think it's quartzite. It doesn't have the sugariness of quartzite. So again, kind of a mystery stone. Same with this. So at first I thought this was just quartz, but then when I actually tumbled it, you can see you do have quartz in there, but I don't know what this other creamy, wavy, liney stuff is. So an interesting piece, and you can see actually here, you have different reflective. So obviously you can see the hard quartz, and there was some erosion of the softer material. So I'm wondering limestone, marble, I don't know. Can you even have that between the two? So that's interesting. And then I'm thinking this is quartzite, not sure though, but very nice colors. You can kind of see in there's some, I'm thinking maybe some biotite or something. I'm not sure though. So some mystery rocks. So that's kind of the second batch, and I'll go and gather some more up here to show, which will be a mix of jaspers and quartzite. Be right back. Okay, so here we are with the jaspers and the quartzites, and again some more mystery rocks, and some, I don't know what you call them, certain minerals or types of rocks that are mixed with a background rock. What do they call it? Host rock. So I'll start over here with the quartzites. Again, all these were collected north of the Prince George. Again, predominantly here in the piece. Actually, I'm going to start with this because this is actually not. This is the only, I have a bunch of dalasite, but this is the only piece of dalasite that I had in this batch. And this did come from Vancouver Island. So, however, this is all the quartzite, and as you can see, you get all sorts of different variations of colors, and they take a wonderful polish. Although, true to a lot of it, you get fracturing, and so you'll get surfaces like this that don't quite polish perfectly. However, I like to say that you get different grades of quartzite. You can tell this is, you can see all the granular, sugary style pieces of quartz. But then you get pieces like this that are much more metamorphosed. Very smooth, very compact, very heavy and really cool. But it is quartzite and very, very shiny. So you get a lot of, you know, from, you know, the big reds and oranges to the yellows to ones like this here that, you know, can become quite confusing. It's like, what the hell? What is this? Because you can see there's different stuff in here, but when you start to look at it really closely, you can kind of see the sugariness of it. And then I got this guy here. I'm pretty sure this is quartzite, but nice, neat modeled pattern. So there's all my quartzites. I got these guys here, and I'm not entirely sure again. Oops, he's not supposed to be in there. They're just these solid plain colors. Relatively soft, but I'm not too sure what they are, but pretty. And then some of my favorite rocks are actually these rocks that you get a mix of like quartz against the host rock. You know, some would say that's basalt or something. I don't know. It shouldn't be basalt because we don't have a lot of volcanic stuff up here. Mafic rock, it's either metamorphic or sedimentary. So, you know, you got these different ones here, you know, that are a nice mix. You get these little contact points. My absolute favorite of this bunch happens to be this guy. You have this really nice top piece of quartz mixed in, and then you get a bottom piece with a vug and some crystals in it. So that's pretty cool. But they do polish up quite nicely. I will say that some of the host rock, much like you notice in this one here, some will shine, and some won't. But it's usually granular. We come over to the jaspers, and these are all jaspers. These were collected mostly down right near Prince George. We don't get really much jaspers, or I haven't found much jaspers up here, but just different grades of jaspers. And then the I don't knows again. So I'll kind of go through it, but some of these ones here, I'm thinking they're jaspers, but not entirely sure. Same deal. I'm thinking this is actually limestone, but not entirely sure. Almost looks dendritic to me, some of this stuff. And then we have a nice little sandstone. I'd like to think that this is serpentine, but I know I got this from Prince George area off of the Fraser, so probably, but not entirely sure. And then where is it here? This guy? Yeah, this guy right here. Same deal, not entirely sure. You know, it's this big mix of things. So is it jasper? What is it? So this is the third grouping, and then we have one final grouping, which will be the agates, and some really dark ones that I'm not sure about. I'll show you. Be right back. I'm just going to throw in a quick another section here. I noticed I skimmed over the jaspers real quick in the video, so just thought I'd come back real quick. I've got two pieces here that that are my favorites out of the Tumble batch. There's this guy here, which the camera's really not picking up all that great today, but it's browns and creams. And then this one here, which I have actually quite a bit. I slabbed it up, so I have quite a bit of this material. Both of these came from the Prince George area, I'm believing off the Nechako River. Yeah, this is all green with light green. Very nice patterning, quite like it. As you can see, it came out and shines really nice. So I'm probably going to use a lot of the other slabs for my foray into cabochoning. But let's move on to the other videos. But I thought I'd come back real quick and show you these. And we're back with the final little bit from the first tumble that I've done in quite some time. We'll start with the agates. So, to full disclosure, This is the only agate that I collected around the Prince George. Actually, these two are the only agates that I collected from the Prince George region. All these guys here actually came from the Monty Lake area. I thought this was actually a calcite because it had a whole bunch of little crystals in it, but it didn't dissolve into nothingness. And when I flash this with a UV light, both long, medium, and short wave, I get no reaction. So not calcite. But yeah, kind of neat. Some of these Monty Lake. So that little button there, it's quite small if you can see the side of my fingers versus the thing. But that was actually embedded into the agates. And quite a few of them fell out. But you can kind of see an example. So those are kind of like that. You can kind of see. So it's kind of neat, the eyes, if you will. So that is an eye that fell out of one of these agates at one time. So those are Monty Lake agates that I don't go back for because I didn't realize that there's claims all along the road and I don't want to piss no one off. So these here are all Fraser River collection. I'm pretty sure they're serpentine, not jade, but they're pretty dark green. Light doesn't really penetrate all that well, so maybe they are a different material. I don't know, but they're very hard and quite dense. On to the head scratchers. I was thinking, it's a beautiful, beautiful red. I was thinking it might be, the word's escaping me, with the red, but it's not magnetic. So, yeah, the word unfortunately is going out of my brain as to what it might be. Hematite, there we go. I was thinking these all were hematite, but they're not magnetic. But they're these different varying colors from deep burgundy to reds. So, don't know what those are. However, that is the end of the batch. That, all of that, and all the quartzes. So it was a good run. The end polish turned out wonderful. If you liked watching this, please hit the like. Please comment on any things that you think you saw. I'd really greatly appreciate that. And if you want to follow along with the adventures up here in the North Peace, subscribe. Have a great day.